Come on, Saz.
Come on, Saz. Come on, Saz. Come on, Saz.
The crystal is intact.
That was a reference that nobody listening to this has any hope of getting. Bubba Ray Dudley once yelled, "Come on, Taz. Come on, Taz. Come on, Taz." But it was like a random tag team match. It was in no way a famous event.
But now they can rest and join us in our new arc.
Oh, and I bought Alyssa back, because even though she's evil and betrayed us, I am twisting time and space just to keep her hotness
The
around.
gates haven't been shut down yet, which means the timeline must still be unstable.
Sure, I can see how. Huh?
Director?
It's okay.
I'm just calling action and then cut, because I'm the director.
The pillar is coming down.
Oh boy, I guess 500 as fuck is fucked. Maybe we should travel back to another time, because apparently we can just like go to whatever time we want to now. There's gates everywhere. Oh boy, I wonder if I'm gonna have to make a slideshow and narrate, because this was why I put off playing this game for a long time. Now I'm being reminded of what happened at the end of Final Fantasy XIII. I got to big dramatic ending movie and suddenly everything stopped working. So I guess this is the crystal pillar. So that one piece falling down there is Fang, and that other piece there is Vanille. Shape up crappy song that sounds generic. Generic J-pop song that has nothing to do with the game's thematic. Or theme. So that's Cocoon, and here's our space technology Cocoon. Why don't you people just fucking live on Pulse? You built like the Return of the Jedi Death Star. I think this is the new Cocoon. I don't even know. This is random fantasy nonsense going on now. How are they doing this without a false C? Not that doing it with the false C would make sense either. But yeah, they're just we cannot live on the planet. We must live in some kind of weird floating palace that's just begging to collapse and kill us all. I should be talking more. Not because you want to hear it, but because it makes it slightly less likely that this whole thing will be blown up by a copyright strike.
Our haven. It will be called Benevelza.
It will be called
And
Outer
it should be a new
Heaven.
home for the human race.
I didn't remember it being called Benevelza, although that name pops up in the next game, and it's not referring to a big floating space cocoon. Oh, this is pretty cool, huh? Oh. Hey, we're pre-rendered now. We look suddenly different. Oh, I look way more lifelike now, Kupo. We look almost Asian in these sequences.
Look, the heroes are back.
Yeah, that's right, Zaz and Dodge, the true heroes of the Three Kingdoms. And
Welcome home.
oh, and I'm gonna fly you closer to a position where you can get this extra treasure sphere here.
Gotcha.
Oh, well, I'm glad you caught me because I certainly couldn't have landed like you did. I'm a girl.
You're okay now.
You feeling alright?
What, me, Kupo? Wow, Mog is huge. He was like there next to Sarah's head. He was like twice as big as I thought he was supposed to be.
It'll be good to see everyone again.
Well, none of them are here. They're all back in 01 as fuck. Or 001 as fuck. Oh,
The gates are closed.
Bill Gates.
It's the end of our journey.
Next game, I don't get to be a playable character anymore. Well, it was fun while it lasted.
No.
Why don't you become the new stud?
Thank you.
For, you know, not hitting on me.
No, not now, please.
Can't you wait 5 minutes and die later? Can't you die between games? Not during the ending scene. So, I remember being shocked by this the first time I played through the game. It's like, oh crap, the main character just died in the ending. But that was because the first time I played through this game, I think I wasn't paying a lot of attention to the plot at all. And as I let's play through it, they dropped a lot of hints that this was going to happen. But, yeah, it's happening. Stud! Happy, happy music as the cute little character who you've been trying to save since the beginning of the last game dies. Oh, fuck everything that you did in the last game too, because Sarah just died and it's all your fault, player. That's right, Teddy Long is singing the song because he said player at the end. And Hope's like, whoa, no, whoa, how come you fucking killed Sarah? Well, now he looks Asian too. Everyone looks Asians in the pre-rendered sequences.
You were safe. Everything was fine.
This is such bullshit. This is terrible storytelling.
The future changed. It changed.
Lavos be damned, the future changed. See, Lavos would have kept Sarah alive.
If you change the future, you change the past.
This is proof that the American dream still lasts. In the car and the metro. So if everybody gets to live in a wonderful future land of happiness, if Sarah
You mean
dies...
Sarah? She saw this vision? Yes.
She saw the vision that you see.
And it killed her.
She just couldn't stand the idea that we would all live on some stupid floating Death Star instead of just moving to Pulse like we should have done 500 years ago.
She knew the risk. If we altered the future, she knew what would happen. That her life could be in danger.
She might look Asian and dead in the pre-rendered sequences.
I wanted to protect her.
Well, not as much as I want to protect Yule, who's also dead. So really, I just fucked up in every way.
I thought I had.
You know, nuzzling her against her
you
man
safe.
nipples isn't going to help. And then Snow shows up. Hey guys, what's going on? Did you guys rescue Sarah? I don't see lightning in this happy ending sequence either. Oh, Mog's dead too. Who cares?
She is gone, Kupo.
Well, you called Sarah the goddess? That's kind of weird, man. Oh, that's not what he's talking about. Isn't the whole point to stop the goddess from dying? Because if the goddess dies, the world is engulfed in chaos?
The heart of chaos beats in my chest.
Hi, I'm back, by the way.
Manifestation of Petro. Should this heart stop beating, the goddess will die once again.
Did he say that? I don't remember him saying that.
The goddess?
You bastard! Boom. The Undertaker's coming. It's gonna be a tag match. And you're gonna go one-on-one, even though I said it's a tag match, with the Undertaker.
Valhalla is unleashed.
Oh, so we basically lost all over the place.
Chaos has the power to warp the timeline and destroy the past.
So basically you're bummed. You're just boned here. Okay, so Sarah sacrificed herself in order to realize a wonderful future for the world, and nope. Sarah dies, and the wonderful future she died for doesn't show up either. Yay. These laser lights indicate chaos, I guess. I'm Caius, by the way. I'm dead now, but I'm still going to show up to taunt you about how chaos is unleashed. What a jerk.
I guess I'm the new goddess. Bow down, motherfuckers.
Oh, is she dead too? Everybody's dead. And there you go, folks. The non-ending of Final Fantasy XIII-2. I think I revealed a couple of videos ago that one of the things this game is famous for is that it has a non-ending. So while the cool music plays, let's dwell on what happened. So a couple of videos ago I did a recap of the story. to get us up to this point where Caius was trying to crash Cocoon into Cocoon to kill everybody and unleash chaos. But he'd also said that if he killed the goddess, he would unleash chaos. And that's the reason Lightning, as the Knight of Etro, couldn't come out and put a stop to this nonsense, because she had to guard the goddess, so that Caius couldn't go kill her. Because the goddess is apparently just hanging out in Valhalla and is defenseless and needs to be guarded. So how he was going to sneak in and kill the goddess while simultaneously also flying around being Bahamut and crashing... He was going to crash Cocoon into new Robo-Cocoon? But I guess we stopped him from doing that when we killed him as Bahamut and then killed him again as Gaius and killed him again as Caius and then made him transform into 3 dragons and killed them. Somehow that stopped... That all that fighting prevented him from crashing Cocoon into Robo-Cocoon. So we saw Cocoon, the crystal pillar collapsed and Cocoon crashed, but everybody was safe in Robo-Cocoon, so nobody got killed there. And then Sarah died because she saw a vision of the future, and Noel said, when you change the future, you change the past, there's ripples, and somehow that means Sarah's dead. And everyone was all bummed, but hey, at least she got to make the wonderful future that she wanted come true. Oh, Kim My Guest was Allison. Okay, I did not realize that. Kim My Guest has done some voice roles where she sounds like a normal person, but she's also famous for doing a couple of voice roles. Mei Ling, but also like a minor character in Wet, where she just is super over-the-top Asian accent. It's kind of funny. I am super annoyed right now because I wanted to be able to pause and actually look at the credits, but I guess that's not a thing you get to do. Yeah. Anyways, Ali Hillis, I guess, is Lightning and also Tentacle Head Lady from Mass Effect, Liara. And I didn't make nearly as many jokes about that as I meant to. Maybe in the next game. But yeah, so Sarah dies to bring about this wonderful future, but then it doesn't happen anyway. Because like I was saying, Lightning is guarding Etro, and you have to stop him from crashing Cocoon into Robo-Cocoon. But then it turns out that if he dies, the goddess dies anyway. And if that's the case, why didn't he just fucking kill himself? No, seriously, at the very end they reveal the heart of chaos beats within me. When it stops beating, the goddess dies. So this whole thing was an elaborate trap to get Noel to kill him. Now I don't even know, had he killed everybody by crashing Cocoon into Robo-Cocoon, would that have actually unleashed the chaos that he said he wanted to unleash? Why exactly did he want to unleash chaos? He wanted to kill the goddess because the goddess was reincarnating the 11-year-old girl Yule, and he wanted that to stop. The point is, if you defeat Caius, he wins. If you don't defeat Caius, he wins. So basically, Caius wins. And the game ends with infinite chaos pouring in to destroy the world. So let's just say that you decided to buy this game, and you had no intention of playing the next game. You were just like, hey, I want to play this one game, and I play the games on either side of it. It's not like a TV series. Like, if you just tune into a random episode of a serialized television drama, and it doesn't resolve the story, that's kind of on you. But this game, I imagine, cost $60 when it came out. It was supposed to have a self-contained story. Latin translator, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad we had somebody to translate this game into Latin. So that All Dragon could enjoy it. Because All Dragon. I know this. You guys don't know this, but All Dragon actually thinks and dreams in Latin and translates his own thoughts and stuff in real time into English so that he can communicate with the rest of us. No, I'm just joking. I happen to know that All Dragon took Latin in high school, so I'm kidding. But no, I mean, the plot is you have this big, long adventure full of confusing, nonsensical time travel bullshit, but at the end of the day, the villain is an agent of the Goddess of Chaos and decides to rebel against the Goddess of Chaos, but the Goddess of Chaos dies if the villain dies. So everything that happens in the game is a complete waste of time because the villain could just stab himself through the heart and win at any time. Now, somebody who's potentially one of the writers, like, we haven't gone through all of the, there's extra material that you can read about. Every time you get a chaos fragment, there's, like, background information you can read about, including a bunch of bullshit that is just, like, pulled out of their asses to explain why people suddenly can use magic, when in the last game it was clear that the only people who could use magic were Lassie, who'd been infected with magic by the Falsey. This game's like, you know what, fuck that, people can use magic. Here's like 3 lines of text that says people can use magic now, that you don't even see unless you go through 8 levels of menu to read the background info. Maybe somewhere in that 8 levels of background info is some explanation for why, Caius can't self-terminate. John Connor has to lower him into the lava. Like, maybe there's some in-game lore reason in 8 levels worth of text menus to explain why he can't just kill himself, but I really don't think so. I think the whole game is a big, silly waste. That being said, it's more fun to play this game than... I found this game to be more fun, just like actual sinking hours into just playing the game itself. In some ways, it's more fun than Final Fantasy XIII because it's much more open. You can go in different directions and do different things. You can hop from one map to another. That being said, there's not that much original map in this game. There's very little original map in this game. There's the same maps in different time periods. In some ways, it feels like a very lazy game. Not Metal Gear Survive lazy, but it's sort of at that level. They keep recycling the same maps over and over with minor tweaks in the different time periods. They set the game up. It's by design. I think it's made for pouring hours worth of time into. Like, I always feel bad afterwards, but I'm somebody who easily gets sucked into, like, I'm gonna grind and I'm gonna grind against enemies and pick up rare items and blah blah. Like, every time I do that, later on I get depressed. I'm like, life is but a fleeting experience. We are all but dust blown in the wind. No one lives forever, and someday when it's all over, you'll ask yourself, how many hours did I spend grinding for crystals in Final Fantasy XIII-2? Nevertheless, I do have fun while I'm doing it, but yeah, this game takes it to, I think, a ridiculous level. Similar to how, without the speed-up function in Final Fantasy XII, it takes forever to grind for enough levels and license points and stuff. In this game, it's like, yeah, you can play through the main story fairly simply, but if you want to get all the monsters, and you want to level them all up, and you want to get all the different techniques and all the different equipment and this, that, and the other, it's just crazy, stupid amounts of leveling or grinding. Because as we saw in this, I got Noel and Sarah to the end of their, Crystariums a long-ass time ago. But there was still lots and lots of grinding to do. So what's left to do? Well, we have to go get the rest of the fragments. I'm going to try to do that as efficiently as I can. Although some of this is just going to have to happen off-screen. Like, at one point, I think you have to win a certain number of coins at the casino on the slot machines. Like, you get a fragment for using the slot machines enough time. It's kind of crazy. So at the end, are we going to see Titus swimming out of the water? But yeah, it's a sad ending, but it's not like Final Fantasy X had this wonderful sad ending that was earned. It was foreshadowed. It made sense. This one, they foreshadowed that Sarah might have to sacrifice herself, but the idea that it would mean nothing and that the world would be destroyed anyway, not so much a good ending. But we got a paradox scope. a Hope Gate seal. And I set up for the sequel, because in the next game, it's like, oh no, the world is being flooded with chaos. What's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is the next game is going to be about lightning, and only lightning. You do not play as anybody else in that game. There's no guest monsters. There's no switching party members. You just play as lightning for the whole game. And the starting point is a world that's flooded with chaos, and I won't spoil the whole story of that game, but eventually lots and lots of crazy shit happens, and none of it makes sense, and eventually that game ends with a good ending, which doesn't necessarily follow from anything that the player did. So, the Nova Crystallisis series of games, pretty nonsensical. I got to be a fan of the combat system after a while. I know in some ways it's like autoplay, but there is some strategy to it. It can be kind of fun. The games are gorgeous to look at, but yeah, story-wise, LPing Final Fantasy XIII, the story finally made some sense to me, but it was still pretty out there. This story, just batshit. This story makes Final Fantasy XIII look completely logical and lucid. But we got the Fragment Skill Paradox Scope. You have unlocked the Fragment Skill Paradox Scope. It's time to head to the mystic residing in Serendipity. This Fragment Skill will give you the courage to face challenges you thought were impossible, like playing the next game after this one ended so poorly. You'll find yourself being able to destroy enemies you should have no chance of defeating. Switch this power on, close all the gates in the Historia Crux to reset locations, and challenge yourself to achieve the impossible. What they're getting at is, and I actually did this off screen and need to showcase it in a future video, like, you remember how that giant monster Atlas, we could fight it, but it crushed us, so instead you have to go find a machine to power it down? Yeah, now you can go back and fight it when you're all super powered up. Same thing with, we defeated Royal Ripeness, the giant tomato monster. Yeah. But you already have the ability to do that, so I'm not exactly sure what the Paradox Scope does, except that it is involved with fighting. It typically makes boss battles harder. There's a couple of points where you fight Caius using the Paradox Scope, and he's like tough, like interim boss Caius, like the Caius who would pop up periodically at the end of episodes. Episode 2, Episode 4, like not the end Caius. And you get like a different ending because I guess it's implied that you defeat him for reals if you do it using the Paradox Scope. I don't know. Then again, any ending that you get from defeating Caius is apparently you losing because that's how the story got structured at the end. If you beat Caius, you lose. And it's not even some kind of like, you are the Avatar and the Guardian is actually your shadow and blah blah blah. No, he's just some dude. There is no non-violent resolution possible, and a violent resolution means he wins. Kind of annoying. And we unlock Valhalla Year Unknown, which is kind of a thing that just lets you replay the beginning of the game where lightning, the one point where you actually fight as lightning. That's my 2015 saves. Oh, sorry. That's not actually right at all. Yeah, that's, I knew that was going to happen. You unlock that. It makes it look like there's a whole other section of story to go, but there really isn't. You can just, now you can play through those tutorial fights at the beginning, and that were kind of unlosable again. Huzzah. And the other thing that's weird about this is this game gives you a whole bunch of post-game content. So, Red Dead Redemption, your hero, spoilers for Red Dead Redemption, I suppose, the hero dies at the end, but you get to play as his son in the same world where you were in. The Grand Theft Auto games, some of them, like the most recent one, you have some capacity to have main characters die, or you can save them. In the post-game, you play as whichever main characters didn't die. Final Fantasy XIII post-game is a bit weird. the game definitely ends, and it's definitely over, but you can go back to the save point right before the final boss battle and do a bunch of stuff that's tougher than actually beating the game. In this one, you just hop back and you get to... It's weird. It's like, okay, this game is so much fun, you don't want to stop. You can go to the casino and unlock extra challenges, and you can go defeat super bosses, and you can do all these things, and hey, you remember that asshole who told you that you hadn't seen every beast in the game, and his bestiary won't be completed until you do that, but he kept being a dick about it? Well, now you can go back and you can fight all these monsters that don't even appear until you beat the game. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Yay. Except that they give you this at the end of a super downer ending where this, you know, this sweet, appealing female character you've been playing the whole time is dead. So it's like... And the whole game, it's like, hey, you got the pink-haired girl running around. She's like way more cheerful and fun and likable than Lightning. Lightning was like all kind of cold and she's badass, but she's also just kind of grumpy and cold the whole game. This game is not as over-the-top bubblegum silly as Final Fantasy X-2, but it's definitely moving in much more of a lighthearted, fun direction than Final Fantasy XIII is. But that being said, it's all lighthearted, fun, and silly, and then, you know, like, hey, you've got a Moogle flying around, and you can put like a little top hat on your guest monsters and all that kind of nonsense. Then it fucking kills the main character and tells you the world is doomed at the end. Oh, but you can go back and replay individual sections. It's just really, really weird. So, all these different things that you can do. We've got at least one more fragment we can get here. There's... I know for a fact that there's another thing that I didn't unlock after Arcalite Step. There's more content, folks, because at the end of the day, I don't have all the fragments. And you get an extra bonus scene at the end if you get all the fragments. We will do that. That's the plan. If I absolutely lose all patience, I might go steal the final bonus scene and just show it to you. If, like, there's a fragment left that, like, is going to take hours and hours and hours of gameplay to get. But my plan is to get the remaining fragments and showcase all of the extra content in the game. Don't hold out hope that the extra scene you unlock at the end is going to really change things. It's kind of like, remember at the end of Final Fantasy X-2? If you get the good ending, spoilers, Titus comes back. If you get the perfect ending, Titus comes back, and he and Yuna talk. It's just a scene on top of, at the end of the ending, like an additional scene of dialogue. If you get the perfect ending for this game with all the fragments, you get an additional scene of dialogue. Monologue, actually, if I recall correctly. It's not like suddenly you get to defeat Caius and the world isn't plunged into chaos or anything like that. That being said, I still plan to show it. If you're still watching, you're watching because you're a completionist, and I can respect that because I'm a completionist. That's why I'm still playing the game. But I'm not playing the game anymore tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. When we come back, post-game content. See you for that. Otherwise, at some point, I'll play Lightning Returns. So keep an eye out for that. Somebody's got to stop the world from being overflowed with chaos, and apparently it ain't going to be Noel, and it sure as hell ain't going to be Sarah. Bye-bye.